Hi, my name is Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Multifamily Rock Stars. Now, this is where we interview people that are just flat out crushing it in this business, and we give you the inside scoop as to how multifamily investors are creating massive success in their businesses and in their lives. And as always, I've got my co-host, who's the director of my Massive Action team for our Warrior Mentorship Program, Mark Nagy, on the call. Mark, what's up, brother?
Not much, man. I'm just happy to see another friendly face. For those watching on YouTube, we got another guy with the warrior sword hanging in the background. I'll let him talk about it, but we'll get into a lot of that good stuff here on the podcast. So excited.
Yep. So yeah, we've got a really super nice guy named John Sidoti on the call today. And now, John, let's see, how many doors are you in now? You've purchased 120 as a GP since you become a warrior. You're partnered with other warriors. You joined the program, like November of last year, right?
Yeah, so 10 months ago.
Yeah. So why don't you talk a little bit and just give us a little background as to who you are and bring us current with to today with why real estate, maybe what you did before real estate, just as a high level. Not, you don't have to belabor it, but just give us a little background on who you are, my friend.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you, Rod. I'm John Sidoti from Boston, Massachusetts. I come from a background of construction management. I was in construction management for about a little over a decade, working for a big national general contractor. Worked all over the country, building towers, multifamily properties, warehouses, office spaces, all sorts of commercial assets. And now I'm looking to own and operate the buildings that we once built. I have also been in multifamily real estate since 2013. I acquired my first duplex in 2013, then got into a commercial complex in Panama City, Florida in 2018, and started significantly scaling up about a little over a year ago. So why did you join the Warrior program if you were already doing it? I was doing it, but I was missing one thing. And that was I was missing knowledge on how to syndicate and really use other people's money and the network, being with the network, the coach, the mentor, and having all the parts that is really needed to kind of get
to go bigger. And so you've done 120 doors since you joined, which is awesome. And your background is also awesome for the business. So now, were you the project manager? So you coordinated the subs and all that. Is that what you did?
Yeah. So I was on projects for this general contractor all across the country. I was a project manager, and I was managing a couple different parts of the construction projects, and we worked on projects from like $5 million up to $2 billion.
Wow. Wow. So and why that interests me, John, is because as this multifamily business is a team sport, and there are lots of different hats a person can wear. But by God, you are perfect for the asset management component. Okay, which is guys. I mean, if you haven't heard me talk about this before, of course, there's a need for an analytical person, to do the underwriting, and you're probably pretty analytical as well because that's required to be a project manager. But so there's that need. There's the need for someone to be outgoing and build relationships with, with brokers and with potential investors and so on and so forth. So there's that hat. There's also, the asset management hat, which is a project management, construction management. I mean, those are fantastic frameworks for the asset management piece, which is all the work that happens after you close. That's when the real work starts. So, that's really awesome. Now, where are these assets that you own now? Where these ones you just bought, the 120 doors, where are those located?
So the ones that we bought are in Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh, good God, no! Say it isn't so. Say it isn't so.
We'll talk about that later.
All right, we'll talk about that offline. I had an experience in Shreveport, which is why I'm bitching and moaning right now. We sold a 403 unit asset there that was my nemesis, but there's a lot of story behind that. But now we love Dallas and Houston. We've got assets in every one of the markets you just mentioned. I didn't know you were in both those.
We have Panama City, Florida, Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah's nice too. Wow.
And Leland, North Carolina.
Wow, those are all great markets, with the exception. Those are all great markets, with the exception.
Don't hate on Shreveport. I love Shreveport. I think it's a cool little happy city.
I don't even want to fly over Shreveport airspace again. If you live there, I'm sorry. Call me and I'll give and I'll retract. But anyway.
So John, I know you mentioned one thing, which was part of the reason you joined is you needed help with the raising money and scaling up that way. Now, did you take on that role of raising money yourself, or did you just partner with and network with other people and they've taken on that hat of raising money?
So I have learned how to raise money, which was my goal. I talk to investors all the time. I really enjoy it. I don't consider it my real forte, so to speak. But yes, I do know how to raise money, but I did partner with some warriors that are really good at raising money. And I've met some people that are incredible capital raisers. So
nice. So, everybody thinks it's all perfection and no speed bumps and no bloodied noses and things like that. Talk about a setback or, I call them seminars, but talk about a seminar that you may have had and what you learned and what happened. Pick a doozy for us, will you?
So Panama City, Florida.
Okay.
We acquired the asset. 1 month in the ownership, we get wiped out by Hurricane Michael. Now, this was before I was a warrior.
Right. Okay. That's okay.
But definitely a big learning moment. And I had already been in construction management for 8 years at that time. And so I got to put my skills to the test.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Out of state. But so basically overnight we went from 100% occupancy to 50% occupancy. And we had to do a full gut rehab on all the units.
Wow. So, well, I'm going to one up you just because, when Hurricane Charlie hit Charlotte County, Florida, I had 360 damaged houses. And it took us, I'm not exaggerating, it took us 18 weeks just to assess all the damage, okay? Yeah. Let alone, and they were without power for months down there. And it was like, I was actually at a Tony Robbins event in LA and my assistant called me and said, hey, you need to come back. We had a hurricane. I'm like, I'm not coming back. It just started. She's like, no, you really need to come back. And so I came back and I drove down there and it was like a freaking bomb went off. Even the telephone poles were broken off at about 10 feet. It was crazy.
That's what Panama City was like. And I mean, you get there and I mean, the first thing you're thinking about is I hope everyone's okay.
Sure. Of course.
But like, then it's just I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I almost got decapitated. I was driving down a road and there was a wire hanging there, and I almost didn't see it. I'm not kidding. It probably would have gone over the car, but I'm being a little dramatic, I think. But it was literally hanging right there where my neck was. It probably would have gone up the windshield, hopefully. But yeah. And then we had another situation where we had a tornado destroy an asset in Beaver Creek, Ohio. 101 units. All families had to move. That was an exercise in logistics as well. But anyway, well, that's a good one, buddy. That's a good one.
Were those flood zones that those were in? Was that part of why the damage got hit so hard for both of you guys?
Yeah, anything along the coast is a lot of flood zones.
I think we're just outside the flood zone in Panama City.
Well, the actual hurricane doesn't really pay attention to the flood maps, just FYI, but
I mean, they got 200-mile-an-hour winds during Hurricane Michael, sustained, and there were walls. I mean, there was one house in particular that I drove by 6 months after the hurricane that the whole wall was missing. You could see in the house.
I'm going to one-up you again. I had a tenant call me that was in his house, hiding under his couch, and the entire ceiling, roof, everything blew off. It was just the walls. Daylight, okay? Yeah, and the true story. And garages blew off, sheds blew off, carports blew off. I mean, crazy stuff. You know what was interesting though? You could really see the caliber of the construction, because we would have, I had a lot of 60s built houses, older stuff that would be destroyed next to an 80s built house that had some missing shingles. Okay, that's the quality of the construction here really ramped in the 80s. And so it was really interesting to see, the disparity between, but every house was damaged in some fashion. So crazy.
I can't one up you guys. The worst I've had is a tree falling on one of my properties and putting a little hole in the roof in Florida.
Yeah, lame.
So
lame. Okay, lame.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, that's lame. Well, let's go back to something I know we're going to be talking about probably for a long time. Everything going on, the recession, interest rates shooting through the roof. Today's September 23rd. Rates got raised again yesterday. They're going to get raised 2 more times before the end of the year. John, what are you doing right now, just personally or business wise, to overcome all that fear that's just out there in the world and the real estate market right now?
So, I mean, really, that is just a fact of life. It's something we got to deal with right now. And to deal with that, we underwrite. I do a lot of underwriting. I love underwriting. I love Excel spreadsheets, and I love numbers.
You're one of those mutants, huh? Okay.
So
all right.
I grew up, my dad is a CPA. So I've been around numbers my whole life. And so I love underwriting. And we factor in, we use higher rates at the entry and an exit, you're a little more conservative on the exit cap rate. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about with the exit cap, you're typically doing a 5-year pro forma, and you need to calculate what you think the cap rate's going to be at the time you do your liquidation event. Your liquidation event would be either refinance or a sale. And if you're aggressive with that, that's a problem. And I'm going to tell you, if you take a look at a graph with what happened to cap rates in 2008 and 9 and 10, they mirrored interest rates, and interest rates are going up. Cap rates are going to go up. So you've got to calculate that and not be super aggressive. I drill that into you. You guys know that. And same with obviously the interest rate projections. I mean, we just got approved at 5.2 on a 10-year fixed loan for our Nashville asset. By the way, if you're accredited, there's still some slots left in there, and it is a screaming deal. 60% loan to value, not 10-year fixed debt, and we're still got upwards of 10% projected on cash, 16-19% IRR, 20 to 22% on the AAR, and that's with 60% loan to value debt. So really awesome deal. If you're interested in that, text the word partner to 72345, and we'll chat with you about it. You can see the webinar we did on it. But
but you've got to be, and we're raising 6 months of operating reserves, expenses, just in case, and that we should, that's a bare minimum that you should do, to have some money in the bank in case the, what hits the, what. So, but anyway, and stress testing as well. And so I'm kind of expanding on your answer, John, a little bit. And that is, you want to be stress testing these deals. What's your break-even point? How vacant can you be economically and still survive, and still make it? But let me ask you this. Why do you think people give up in this business, John? What do you think is a common reason that people, go after it and then they end up giving up?
Because there's a lot of unknowns, because there are a lot of moving parts. And it's not easy. I mean, it's there's just so many different facets.
Well, and what I'll say to that is, I think it's that they try to do it all. And this business is absolutely a team sport. I mean, my Warriors own upwards of 90,000 doors that we know of, and I've only been teaching 5 years. And most of those were done between Warriors. Like the deals you've done have been done with Warriors, or the bulk of the people are Warriors. And so, if you divide and conquer and you don't try to do it all, and you focus on your strength and you partner for where you're not as strong, I think would you agree that that's a big, that makes the difference?
100%.
Yeah.
And the relationships are just, they're so beneficial. It's great for everyone. And
You've had a good experience in the Warrior program so far?
Oh, the Warrior program has been unbelievable. I've met great people, great knowledge shared. And I've really gotten to build on everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know you come to the events, and that's such a big piece of this, because you're networking, and your network is your net worth, honestly, especially in this business. By the way, guys, if you are interested in checking out our Warrior program, text the word crush to 72345. And we'll set up a call to apply. That's what you do. You text the word crush to 72345, and we'll see if you're a good fit for us, and we'll see if you can see if we're a good fit for you, tongue twister. So, so just text crush to 72345, and we'll set up that call. And you will leave that call better than when you signed on. I'm just going to tell you when you joined, because whether you work with us or not, because we will help you get really clear on some things. But awesome. What's your driver, brother? What inspires you? You're always such a happy face. You're always smiling and happy. I love that about you. Where's that come from? And what are some foundational drivers or whys that bring that out?
So I have been, the first thing, I was in a really bad car accident in 2007. And I am very fortunate to be here today.
Wow.
And because of my family, my friends, and everyone around me growing up, that is motivation for me to just...
So every day's a blessing.
I mean, I'm on borrowed time. I'm very lucky. I'm fortunate. But it's a lot of hard work. And then I love seeing others smile. I love, it's good to be, motivated by others' happiness, and to do well in the world, and, work with others and provide value to others. And
that's beautiful, brother. That's beautiful. I did not know that. I mean, I know that, your speech is a little halting, and you have to think through what you say, but you have no problem communicating, but I didn't, so it's the accident is the reason for that then. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you're killing it. I mean, look at you. You're a freaking success, and you've pushed through, and I didn't know any of that. I didn't want to ask. I didn't, I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing that. Wow, that's
quite
awesome.
A story. So I'm very fortunate, and I could be 6 feet under, and I'm up here. So
wow. That's awesome, buddy. I mean, I was just curious because like I say, you're always smiling, you're always happy, you're always making other people happy. And now I get it. I mean, when you face death, it's like every day is a gift. So, wow. Okay.
It's a blessing. So,
yeah. It looks like Mark is locked up. Yeah, we lost Mark, yeah. But well, listen, I actually think that's actually probably a good place to end, only because that's such a beautiful ending. But you know, I have a lot of aspiring investors that listen to this show, and yeah. You know, and they want this so bad and they haven't taken action yet. And I truly believe the greatest transfer of wealth in history is upon us. I really do. I think there's going to be incredible opportunity if people get up to speed quickly enough, you know, yeah. But those people that are on the sidelines, what might you say to them, John?
Definitely get the knowledge, yeah. Get the experience, find a team, find partners that really, you know, help you to accelerate, you know, build out your circle of influence and get on a team, get into the real estate investing, and you'll be glad you did it.
Thanks. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on, my friend. It's great to see your face and be around your great energy, and we'll you know, we're working on scheduling a live event sometime next year. We don't know when or where. We're having a hell of a time with hotels, but we've got a virtual event coming up. But anyway, I hope to see you soon, my friend.
Awesome. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks. Take care.
Sarasota. Thanks.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our Warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year, we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step, and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our Warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text the word crush to 72345, and we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out. Again, to apply, text crush to 72345.